Megyn Kelly has weighed in on Meghan Markle's failed plan.
We've got to talk about Meghan Markle.
I remember when she was born, big new addition to the family, and we just have a very young sister here.
Megyn Kelly didn't just ask a question. She tossed a grenade right into Meghan Markle's perfect little fairy tale. She went straight for the jugular, saying Meghan might not be 42, not even 44, but possibly older, and the crowd couldn't believe it. That one savage line cracked open a rumor so wild it refuses to die. From the start, Meghan's story never lined up.
There's nothing original here.
I hope you're having the best birthday you've ever had. Thank you for everything.
Which is really such a fake.
Former neighbors whisper she was a bully brat who always had her eyes on the prize, marrying into royalty. And let's be real, her timeline reads less like real life and more like a Hollywood script with missing chapters, rewritten scenes, and edits that scream Netflix drama. The irony? Meghan loves to preach about authenticity, but the one thing she seems desperate to cover up is her actual age. Classmates who looked older than her suddenly look younger in old photos. Group pictures from back in the day feel off. And those official documents, quietly amended like someone's trying hard to erase the truth.
Hi, Natty. I got an English award.
100% a bully brat.
Meghan's polished image may dazzle the cameras, but behind the curtain, the numbers just don't add up. Every time you zoom in on Meghan's story, the cracks just split wider, and yet she keeps flashing that polished smile like it's all pure coincidence. But here's the wild part. This doesn't look random at all. From the jump, it feels planned. Royal records tweaked, photos curated, and a pattern that screams cover-up instead of chance. Meghan has built an entire empire off her image. But what if the foundation is nothing more than smoke and mirrors? She sells herself as the Hollywood sweetheart turned real-life princess.
That was her goal, #goal, to marry Prince Harry.
But what if she's been acting the whole time? Imagine her biggest role wasn't in Suits. It was her entire life story. That's the real plot twist. And trust me, the receipts don't lie. It all begins with something so small, so casual, it could have been overlooked forever. A single group photo from Northwestern University's salsa club. At first, it looks harmless, just a bunch of early 2000s students grinning at the camera. Nostalgic, right?
Meghan Markle's not an idiot.
I just made a little mark on my board and said, oh, there's another lie, click.
But when you really study it, the picture doesn't just look off, it feels like a glitch in the Matrix. Once those puzzle pieces line up, you'll never see Meghan's fairy tale the same way again. Look closely at that salsa club picture, and the numbers get shady real quick. Most of the people smiling in that shot, they were born in the early 1970s, which means today they're in their early 50s. But there's Meghan, standing right in the middle, claiming a 1981 birth year, nearly a full decade off from the rest. Tell me, who just casually blends into a group years older than them like it's no big deal?
Yeah, she very clear idea of where she wanted her path to take her.
It's like a high school sophomore sneaking into a college reunion and acting like they belong. Awkward, suspicious, and straight up bizarre. The ages don't match, the timelines don't match, and the excuses? Non-existent. It reeks of someone parachuting into a story that isn't theirs, crossing their fingers no one would notice. That single salsa club photo isn't just a throwback, it's a smoking gun. Meghan never wanted that image floating around because it doesn't just raise questions, it blasts them wide open.
It was planned from the beginning.
It paints her as someone desperately trying to rewrite her own timeline, forcing herself into a narrative where the math refuses to add up. And once your eyes catch it, you'll never unsee it. But here's the kicker. This isn't the only picture with problems. That salsa club photo? It was just the first crack in a wall that crumbles the deeper you dig. One odd picture could have been dismissed as coincidence, but when the same age gap weirdness keeps showing up again and again, it stops looking accidental. It screams deliberate. Meghan's entire past is full of timeline glitches that make her so-called 1981 birth year look like a punchline. Dig through alumni records, reunion logs, even old event flyers, and you'll see the same pattern on repeat.
Meghan Markle has nothing.
Someday Meghan's going to realize that she's obviously missing out.
Meghan popping up in circles where everyone else fits the era, except her. It's like she's gate crashing someone else's decade, grinning for the camera, hoping nobody bothers to pull out a calculator. It's messy, it's obvious, and let's be blunt, it reeks of a cover-up. Meghan isn't some poor victim caught in a misunderstood timeline. No, she's the architect of it. Every shuffle, every tweak, every coincidence looks like someone chiseling away at their biography, shaving off years like a star clinging to the spotlight. But here's the catch. Hollywood can hide stories with a glossy magazine cover, but royalty? Different game. Once you marry into the monarchy, your receipts get checked under a microscope, and Meghan's receipts? They're a disaster zone. This isn't one tiny hiccup, it's a mountain of inconsistencies stacked so high they collapse under their own weight.
So before she met Harry, you had no doubt she was your sister?
My little sister, though, I said.
Meghan's so-called fairy tale isn't built on magic. It's built on edits, rewrites, and tweaks stacked on top of each other. She wanted the flawless princess story, but what she left behind is a trail of inconsistencies so bold it's embarrassing. And the worst part? These alternative birth years don't just exist. They refuse to disappear. The official script says Meghan Markle was born August 4th, 1981, but if you buy that, you probably also believe Hollywood stars stay wrinkle-free without Botox, because the whispers? They've been circling for years, and they're brutal. Some say 1975, and that's not a typo. That's an entire rewrite of nearly half a decade. Let's break it down. If Meghan's real birth year is 1975, that makes her pushing 48, not 42. And that blows up the very image she spent her whole career selling. The fresh-faced actress chasing her dream? Gone. The youthful royal injecting modern energy into the crown? Exposed as pure branding. Instead, it looks like she's been trimming years off her age like cropping an old Hollywood headshot, snipping out the inconvenient parts and hoping no one noticed the gaps. And here's the kicker.
Well, that's her first wedding in Jamaica. That's one of my favorite pictures. I'd like to have that experience with my granddaughter.
This rumor didn't just pop up from random trolls online. It surfaced in alumni chatter, gossip forums, even old-school tabloid columns, long before Meghan ever became a duchess, which means this wasn't some post-royal conspiracy cooked up by haters. The doubts about her real age have been following her like a shadow for decades. When 3 different birth years keep popping up, it stops sounding like speculation and starts looking like intent. Let's be real, normal people don't walk around with multiple possible birth dates attached to their name. But Meghan, she does. And every single version makes her look older, more calculating, and more desperate to push a fake timeline as the truth. And just when this puzzle couldn't get messier, the drama spilled over onto her own child's records. If Meghan thought age rumors were bad, the chaos over Archie's birth certificate turned the fire into a full-on inferno.
I believe she had a clear motive for writing family off because it would seemingly justify and perhaps delay the revelation of all of the lies that she had told the royal family.
Here's what went down. When Archie was born in 2019, his certificate looked totally standard. Meghan's full first and middle names were listed. Nothing unusual, nothing scandalous. But only weeks later, the official record was suddenly amended. Her personal names wiped out completely. In their place, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. Now pause and think. Who does that? Birth certificates aren't Instagram captions you edit for aesthetic. They're supposed to be permanent, legal, final. Unless, of course, someone has the power to pull strings behind the scenes. Critics were floored. Meghan, who constantly preaches transparency and authenticity, had literally erased her own name from her son's history. And the burning question remains, why? Why would a woman who built her brand on being real scrub her identity off a document that should have been untouchable? This wasn't just about Archie. It exposed a bigger habit. Because if Meghan could tweak her own child's birth certificate without flinching, what else might she have quietly altered about her past? School records, alumni lists, maybe even her true birth year. Once you see a royal document edited under her watch, the idea of Meghan's entire biography being airbrushed doesn't feel far-fetched anymore. It feels like business as usual. And here's the kicker. When critics pointed it out, Meghan tried to spin it, pointing fingers at palace protocols. But by then, the damage was done. The story stuck like glue. Meghan doesn't just manage her image, she manages the paperwork. And when paperwork starts shifting, trust evaporates in seconds. But it doesn't stop there, because Meghan's history has a habit of glitching in ways most people can't relate to. For regular folks, there's always a messy trail of proof. Yearbook snaps, awkward college candids, blurry party pics floating online forever.
Meghan is living a life that she's winning and she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's a joke.
But Meghan? Her photos pop up only when they serve her, then vanish like they've been pulled by invisible strings. It doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel nostalgic. It feels curated, staged, like a PR stunt wrapped up as memory lane. And that kind of control doesn't scream authenticity. It screams manipulation. Think about it. Old school photos don't just magically pop back up in waves. Yet with Meghan, they always seem to resurface at the exact right time, like clockwork. And it's never random. The pattern is too clean. These lost photos reappear only when the heat is on and public pressure is mounting. Critics call it strategic timing, like someone backstage is carefully deciding which snapshots the world gets to see and exactly when. That doesn't feel like nostalgia, it feels like an operation. And here's the issue. When your past is this tightly controlled, it doesn't scream confidence, it screams insecurity. If Meghan's history was spotless, we'd see it naturally, in full, messy detail, the way everyone else's is. But instead, the public gets spoon-fed selective throwbacks, curated gaps, and suspiciously missing years. That kind of drip feed doesn't build credibility, it fuels suspicion. Every polished release looks like another attempt to stitch together a fake timeline, one glossy image at a time. Meghan's photo trail doesn't read as authentic, it reads staged, edited, and terrified of reality spilling out. And every time she tries to script her past like a Hollywood production, the whispers about her age, and the family drama tied to it, explode all over again. Meghan's skeletons don't stay buried, they get dragged straight into the spotlight. Every time she steps into a courtroom or pulls her family into another legal mess, the age rumors come storming back like vultures circling over fresh chaos. And let's be clear, that's no coincidence. Lawsuits have a brutal way of digging up receipts, and Meghan's life is stacked with contradictions just waiting to be weaponized. Take the Samantha Markle defamation case. The moment that lawsuit hit the headlines, the whispers reignited instantly. If Meghan can twist stories about her own family, critics asked, then what else has she been bending or straight up hiding? Cue the age theories, cue the questionable photos, cue the speculation about those missing years. Overnight, Meghan stopped looking like the polished duchess defending her truth and started looking like the unreliable sister with a tangled past. And here's the harsh reality. Meghan fuels this chaos herself. Every lawsuit she files, every legal fight she picks, just cracks open the vault of suspicion all over again. Instead of shutting her critics down, she practically reloads their ammo for them. It's a vicious cycle she can't escape. The moment Meghan's name makes headlines, the internet starts digging, the timelines resurface, and the whispers about her real age roar back louder than ever. Meghan might think she's shutting down her critics, but every move she makes just keeps the rumor mill spinning faster, like a machine she can't unplug. And here's why it spreads so easily. Once a rumor takes root in the public's imagination, it doesn't fade, it mutates, it multiplies. Give it a little oxygen and suddenly it doesn't just survive, it grows into something unstoppable. And Meghan Markle? She's become the perfect storm for that cycle. One outlet drops a headline, a blogger piles on with a source, an old photo gets dug up, and before you know it, speculation starts to feel like fact. With Meghan, it's practically a conveyor belt of scandal. One whisper sparks the next, until the whole narrative takes on a life of its own, completely detached from reality. Sure, Meghan might parade around like she's winning, chasing deals, and living her dream life. But the brutal reality? To a growing crowd, she's become the punchline. And the irony is, Meghan fuels the fire herself. Every time she dodges questions, rewrites her past, or edits a document, she creates empty spaces, and gossip thrives in those gaps. People hate blanks, so they fill them in with theories. And those theories spread like wildfire, whether it's about her age, her timeline, or those missing photos. By the time it snowballs, it's not even about facts anymore. It's about perception, and Meghan's perception has turned toxic. She's the woman who always seems to have mysteries chasing right behind her. The Duchess has a past that just won't sit still, and in the age of social media, perception isn't just reality, it's currency. People don't stop to fact-check, they don't slow down, they hit share, they react. And Meghan, more than anyone, has learned the harsh truth. Once a rumor sticks, it's nearly impossible to scrape off. But here's the chilling part. What if this time the rumors aren't just noise? What if they're true? Let's strip away the speculation and stare at the nightmare scenario. What if Meghan Markle really is older than she claims? If those alternative birth years floating around are accurate, then her official biography isn't just sloppy, it's a calculated lie. That means entire years have been carved out, erased, and hidden from public view like they never existed. And the question is, why? If Meghan shaved off 5, maybe even 6 years from her life, the ripple effect changes everything. It rewrites her Hollywood backstory. She wouldn't be the bright young starlet breaking through, but instead a woman hustling to make it past the industry's brutal age cutoff. It reshapes her royal fairy tale too, exposing her not as the modern, youthful duchess, but as someone who built an empire on numbers that might never have been real. That doesn't paint her as a victim of gossip, it paints her as the mastermind of one of the slickest personal rebrands in modern celebrity history. Sure, Hollywood actresses have lied about their age for decades, but Meghan? She didn't just fool casting directors. She married into the most tradition-obsessed institution in the world. And if her age really is a lie, that means she didn't just con Hollywood, she fooled Buckingham Palace. She didn't just fool Hollywood, she fooled the monarchy, she fooled the world. And that's not coincidence, that's deception. Line it all up and the picture is brutal. The salsa club photo that doesn't fit, the odd timelines, the whispers of multiple birth years, the edited birth certificate, the staged photo drops, the lawsuits that keep dragging it all back. One slip is an accident, but this many, that's a strategy, and a sloppy one. Meghan built her empire on image, but the foundation looks manufactured and full of cracks. And the real sting? It's not about whether she's 42, 46, or older. It's about how far she'll go to control a story that keeps collapsing. She wanted a fairy tale, but what's left looks like an illusion falling apart. And here's the kicker. If her age is this questionable, what else has she buried? Because with Meghan, it's never just one rumor. It's a chain reaction. If this breakdown shocked you, wait until you hear what's next. In our last video, we uncovered claims Meghan might have a secret daughter, allegedly even blindsiding Harry. Don't miss it. Meghan Markle's daughter, 30 years old today, Prince Harry's shock. Subscribe, stay tuned, and buckle up, because Meghan's story is only getting darker.